Hello everyone, this is a quick tutorial on command line interface, and we're going to learn what command line interface is. Before going any further, I'd like to introduce to you what is interface in general, and as an aside I'd like to introduce to you graphical user interface as an alternative to the command line interface. Although graphical user interface is most commonly used and it is more intuitive to some or most, command line interface is more powerful than a graphical user interface, and the command line interface, as we'll see later, is a one place to solve all the problems, to do all the tasks, and it's a really nice way and a quick way to solve computer problems and to operate computer once one become well familiar with the command line interface. So let's start with what is interface in general. So I'm using this simple screen recorder to record this video, and all these buttons, checkboxes, drop down menu is an interface to this simple screen recorder application. So an interface is a means or a way to interact with the application or with the hardware. It's like a barrier between us users and the application. So in this case, this barrier formed as buttons, as a visual window with all these different buttons. Let me just open a couple other applications as a file manager, a Firefox web browser, a word processor, a processing application, and I'm going to press special key W on Ubuntu. It gives us this view. And so graphical user interface is this graphical way of seeing things, being able to click on things, click on folders. So I'm here in the file manager. I could change to folders, I could change the view, and that's what it means being graphical. Everything's you could click on things, you could drag your mouse around, you could grab and drag folders around, etc. So this is a graphical user interface, which, like I said, most of you are familiar with without even knowing what graphical user interface is. You know what it is. Really, it's a desktop, the one you're using. So I'm going to start the terminal by pressing Ctrl-Alt-T, and for the purpose of this video, let's just assume that terminal, the shell, and the command line interface is the same thing. In fact, all three words are used interchangeably to mean a way of interacting with the computer through commands that are typed in. And so in the command line interface, we need to type commands in, and then we'll see the results being displayed to us. So on the left hand side, this is a file manager. We could click on this folder, my folder, so we'll double click. We're inside the folder, we could see this file. We could double click on file, and it will open in this text editor called gedit. We could see here gedit, right? There's nothing in the file. We could say something, hello world, for example, and we're going to save the file by pressing save, and we're going to close the file. To do the same in the command line interface, we would need to know the commands, and we'll introduce commands in a different video. This is just introduction to the command line interface in general. But here's a couple of commands. ls is a list command. We press ls, enter, and we could see all these files in folders, and that's the same files and folders as we see here on the left hand side in the file manager. To have a different view, we could firstly we clear the screen by typing clear and enter, so the screen is clear. And ls-1 is a different way to view. ls is a listing command, which lists all the file and directories, files and folders. And so we could see all the same files and folders as we see here on the left hand side. And this my folder we've been before just then. But here we can't double click on that folder, so we need to type another command to get into the folder. cd is to change directory. Directory is the same as folder, so we type cd and then the name of the folder we want to go in, and we press enter. So now we could see that it's changed from this $sign to this / my folder $, and then we'll type ls again to list the content of the folder ls, and we could see there's only one file, text file, and this is actually showing us that text file, and the text file is currently being edited, or it's open, but don't worry about that too much. So we'll clear the screen again, we'll do ls again. So this one file is just the same instance of different file, and so to open that file we would type the command gnome open. It's just a command and the file name, and we press enter, and voila, we see the same program gedit appeared, and we could edit more things. This is cool to learn. This is cool. I am learning CLI, command line interface, and we save and close. And if we go back here on the left hand side, double click, open the file, we see the same. So what I'm trying to show you here is that command line interface is is exactly the same as a graphical user interface, but you have to type in commands. Although it may appear as typing in commands is more tedious and it's harder, and like I said, there's a bit of a steep curve to learn all the commands and all, but once you've learned that, it's a much more powerful way of interacting with the computer. And in fact, for the Raspberry Pi project that I'm making this videos for, you actually have to use the command line to get started with the Raspberry Pi. Okay, hopefully you've learned a little bit about what command line interface is, and get into it and start using the command line. Great, thanks guys.